In 2018, we decided to bring all 3 modules of our Yin Yoga teacher training under one banner. And so we formed the Jamtse School of Yin Yoga. And if we look at the practice of Yin, we can see that it's unusual, if not unique, within the yoga world in a number of ways. And one of them is that there's no one in charge. There's no guru. There's no one telling us how we should or shouldn't practice. There's no one telling us how we should or shouldn't teach. There's no one telling us what should have true meaning and heart for us within our own practice. And that's a wonderful gift, for it allows each practitioner and teacher to discover and express what has true heart and meaning for them within the practice itself. But this freedom carries with it some challenges. One of which is that because the practice is so open, and because each teacher and each school is speaking from a place of heart and meaning for them, it becomes hard to recognize one school from another, or one teacher from another. Because all different teachers and different schools of Yin Yoga are expressing the practice in quite different ways. A number of years ago, I was speaking to my dear friend Paul, and we were talking about this subject, how Yin Yoga has expanded so quickly and how many teachers and teacher trainings were now happening in the world. And he said to me, well, Biff, what we need to do is I'll just call my Yin Yoga Paul's Yin Yoga, and you call your Yin Yoga Biff's Yin Yoga. And we laughed and went on to something else. But that's essentially what we're doing. The Jamtse School of Yin Yoga represents the way that I see the practice. It represents the way the teachers working within the Jamtse School see the practice. And if we look at Yin Yoga from a physical point of view, we can see very easily how positively it can affect the health of the connective tissue, and how important that is to keep our range of movement and our mobility. And this is beautiful and important work. And many schools of Yin Yoga emphasize this aspects above others. And it's wonderful. We need to keep doing this work, and it's beautiful. And in the first module of the Jamtse Yin Yoga teacher trainings, we spend a lot of time on the anatomy and connective tissue and how it relates to our practice, because it's important and something to learn. If we look at the practice from an energetic point of view, we can see how the postures can affect the free flow of energy through the body, and we learn how important that is to maintain the health of the organs and the overall general health of the body. And that's beautiful, important work. And there's a lot more work to be done in that field. And some schools and some teachers are concentrating heavily on that aspect of it, because that's what has real meaning for those teachers and that school at this time in their life. And these are both important things. But we realize at Jamtse, and for my own personal practice, that yes, these things are important, and we do speak of them, and we do learn about them. But for us, what has most heart and meaning within the practice lies in the understanding of the Yin archetype itself. And when we peel back all the layers of what Yin really means, we get to the archetype of the mother herself. That's the archetype that lies at the heart of the Yin archetype, is the mother. And the mother represents unconditional love, unconditional acceptance. And for me, during my practice, for us at the Jamtse School, I've experienced in my life what a difference this unconditional acceptance towards myself and towards others makes for me. And for me and for the Jamtse School of Yin Yoga, this is what has the most heart and meaning for us. What does the archetype of Yin really represent? How can it help us to let go of the stories that aren't serving us anymore? How can it help us to bring nourishment to the stories that we want to water and to have grow in our lives? So the Jamtse School of Yin Yoga is made up of 3 modules. The first module is speaks more about the technical aspects of the practice, anatomy, the meridians, etc., etc. The second module, as you can see if you read further into the website, if you read my website, speaks about the archetypes of the healer, the warrior, the teacher, and the visionary, and how these archetypes are an expansion of the archetypes of yin and yang, and begin to talk about the seasons and the elements and the directions and those things which were so important to many indigenous cultures. The third module, as you again can read on the website, is about storytelling, and it's really about the stories that we carry in our life and how the practice of Yin Yoga can help us to bring those stories into the light that are carried deeply within the body. So for us, when we look at what really has heart and meaning within the Yin practice, it's the practice of unconditional love and acceptance towards ourselves, which then allows us to feel that same way towards the world and to all beings.